In the world, there have been painters who have played both in the artistic and scientific fields. These people have been rebellious by nature since they used to leave hidden messages in each work they were commissioned to do. Some of these codes went against the religious authorities. Others only reflect the author's way of thinking, which was very advanced for the time. Therefore, today, we'll discover 5 secret codes hidden in famous paintings. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5. The Last Supper by Da Vinci. Chances are you sure know the Renaissance mural called The Last Supper. It was painted on plaster with tempera and oil, and is one of the most significant works for Christian art. His painter, Leonardo da Vinci, made it between 1495 and 1498 in the Church of Santa Maria del Grazie, located in Milan. Although the work was moved off location in more than one opportunity, it is currently in its place of origin. You don't need to be a devout Christian to know that the Last Supper is inspired by the final moments of Jesus, as told in the Bible in the Gospel of John. In it, you can see the first instance the Messiah with 12 disciples, minutes before announcing that one of them was going to betray him. In this work, you can see the God-centered culture of the time. As you can see, the Son of God is the middle of all the perspectives. However, this work isn't in the countdown because of it, but for the mysteries that have characterized Da Vinci's work so much. One of the theories states that whoever is to the right of the Messiah is Mary Magdalene and not John the Apostle. Do you wonder why? Well, one of the evidences found is the shape of an inverted triangle without a base that the body creates. This is a symbol of femininity and fertility. Added to this, the clothes of Mary Magdalene and Jesus are mirrors. That is, both its color and its shape reflect the shape of the other. When the images of both characters is superimposed, their figures fit perfectly, as if they were part of a puzzle. On the other hand, another of its curiosities is the absence of glasses on the table, which contradicts the Bible. That is, the consumption of bread and wine is of the utmost importance for Christianity, which the body and blood of Christ are symbolized in his Last Supper. It also contradicts the popular belief of the Holy Grail. The latter has strengthened the hypotheses of the investigations presented in the books The Sacred Enigma and The Holy Bible and the Holy Grail. In this researches, it is said that the medieval transcripts of the Gospels use the term sangreal, understood later as sangreal. This means royal blood, which would refer to a royal lineage instead of a sacred object. Placing both hypotheses, many people believe that Leonardo was trying to state that Jesus and Mary Magdalene had fathered a child. What do you think? Do you think the painter really tried to mean that? Number 4. John Dee conducting an experiment before Elizabeth I. If you're a lover of Queen Elizabeth I, sure you've heard about the next work of art. Made by Henry Guillard Glendoni, it can be seen how John Dee, a studious man of the court of the Queen, tries to perform an experiment in her presence. He was known for his dubious breaches of the line that separated science from the occultism. However, this piece is in our countdown because of a recent taking of X-ray images on the frame. What was discovered in it will undoubtedly surprise you. It all started when the painting was selected to be part of the exhibition Scholar, Courtier, Magician, The Lost Library of John Dee. In the hands of Royal College of Medicine in London, when going through an X-ray process, it was discovered that at the beginning of the work, only John Dee would be seen. However, instead of being surrounded by the court, he'd be surrounded by a circle of human skulls. This would be a closer approach to the man, since he was very well known for trying to communicate with the spiritual world. John Dee was known for using objects such as black obsidian mirrors for divination, as well as a crystal ball to communicate with angels. Added to this, he had an extensive library that ranged from subjects as diverse as mathematics, philosophy, history, astrology, to alchemy. This made him look like something more than a simple court magician. However, after the death of the queen, the men of science observed the magician as a fool and a deluded man. Considering this negative vision of the man, it is likely that the Victorian painter would inherit this vague vision of John. Although none of this answers why he finally ended up hiding the skulls of the painting. What do you think this artist would be hiding? Do you think he was disturbed by the macabre aspect of the scene? Did the man who commissioned him the painting order him to hide what he painted? Apparently, we'll never know the reasons. The truth is that the final painting is steps away from that ghostly and esoteric scenario. Probably, those two actions were how the Queen's magician was seen, and both fought to impose themselves before the public eye. The truth is that John Dee is not guilty of the distorted image we've inherited in the modern age, since at the time, the differences between magic and natural philosophy in terms of studies weren't seen in the same way that we now appreciate science. Number 3. Madonna with Saint Giovanni No. Halfway through our top 5, we have a work of the 15th century whose author is unknown. However, various sources have attributed it to the painter Sebastiano Mainardi. Although it has been awarded to both Domenico Ghirlandaio and Jacopo del Sallai. two Florentines whose work resembles the painting of Madonna with Saint Giovannino. This painting is part of the Loser collection in the Sala d'Ercole of the Palazzo Vecchio Museum in Florence. As you can see, this is the Virgin Mary in the stable where she gave birth. A small Jesus accompanied her, along with his cousin John Baptist as an infant. Also on the back of the woman are the mule and the ox that have characterized so much the Catholic nativity scene at Christmas. However, what has called our attention of the painting is none of the preceding, but an object in the shape of a disc that is on the sky. Clearly, this hasn't gone unnoticed by UFO lovers. Even behind the back of the Virgin, there is a man with a dog who looks at the mythical ship. What draws the attention of this painting is that during the medieval age, there was no type of artifact or contraption that could fly over the skies, which has led many people to wonder, what led the artist to capture such an object? What was the inspiration of its author to recreate that figure? It's interesting to think that the sighting of an unidentified flying object isn't a contemporary issue, but it's a topic that has hovered around the minds and mouths of people since ancient times. Is it a subliminal message? Some people believe he was trying to say Jesus was brought by beings from another world. Is it true? Will it be a spaceship that brought him to our planet? What do you think? Leave a comment below. Number 2. The Mysteries of the Shepherds of Arcadia. Known as the Shepherds of the Arcadia, this work was made by the French painter Poussin in 1638. As you're observing, there are 4 characters around a sarcophagus in a mountainous area, 3 shepherds and 1 woman. Everyone contemplates a phrase written in the grave, "Et in Arcadia ego," which means I am in Arcadia too. Although in the first instance, this might seem an insignificant detail, the background of the sentence is dark and perverse. The experts in the subject assure that the most correct translation would be, I, the death, am also present in the Arcadia. The truth is that regardless of its artistic value, this painting has a greater importance because of its enigma. The Marquise of Hautepont-Blancheford has the same inscription in her grave. Do you think it could be a sign or the key to a treasure? Where is Arcadia? According to the poet Virgil, this is a paradise for the elderly, the place of immortality. But why would a tomb be in a place where only the immortals live? Disturbingly enough, the landscape isn't entirely imaginary, since its image matches a place near Rennes-le-Château. Its mountains are between the hills Cardoux and Bugaric. However, records indicate that the only tomb that existed in this place was after 1709, 6 decades after the creation of the work. Curious, don't you think? The truth is that the tomb ceased to exist in April 1988, when the owners of the land blew it with dynamite. With this, all possibility of discovering whether there was a tomb long before the grave has disappeared. To all this history, it is important to point out that there is a perfect alignment between the Meridian of Paris, the menhir, the cave, and the tomb of Arquis. The most curious ones have come to speculate the tomb is really Jesus of Nazareth, since Et in Arcadia ego is an anagram of Here in Arcadia lies God. What do you think of all this? Could someone draw the bottom of the picture and Poussin finish the rest? Or did Poussin use another drawing given by someone as a reference to a specific place? Number 1. The Michelangelo Code. A black legend has been created around Pope Julius II, either by being one of the most militarized supreme pontiffs or his desire to represent the apocalypse in the Sistine Chapel. One of the most terrifying moments of the Bible in full Renaissance, although eventually the Genesis would end up being reflected in 95% of the walls. The person in charge of this work was Michelangelo. He and the Pope had a conflicting relationship. Both men disputed what should really be reflected in the chapel. Some people have even said that the artist captured his revenge against Christianity on the walls by leaving hidden messages that reflect his eccentric way of thinking about the work. Michelangelo was a lover of human anatomy. In his paintings, he used to pay homage to the brain. In fact, if you look very carefully, you can see in the painting, The Creation of Adam, that the red mantle that surrounds the divinity has the shape of a brain. Sure, you've interpreted such representation as the similarity between the divine creation and the human intellect. On the other hand, experts suggest the Pope was ridiculed in one of the murals of the chapel. We find this in the image of the prophet Zacharias, a man with whom the Pope identified a lot. This man had prophesied on several occasions the apocalypse. However, as you can see in the image, you can see a man with a pair of cherubs behind him. One of them makes a gesture with his hand, possibly the horns of the devil. For the time, such a sign was a rude gesture. Although Michelangelo couldn't sign his work, in a certain way he appears in it, since his face is drawn in the image of Saint Bartolomeo, a man who is skinned. This has led to theories that state the artist felt like a martyr of Christianity. Do you think it's true? What other mysteries do you know about this chapel? Write them down in the comments. Alright, Top Fivers, if you haven't already, make sure to visit our other channel, The Brilliant, for even more interesting list videos that'll blow your mind. But I'm warning you, the videos over on The Brilliant are extremely addicting to watch as well. There'll be a link in the description to the channel, so make sure to come and visit us. Or you can go to our latest video popping up on screen right now. Oh, and have you visited thefinestpost.com to enjoy the most amazing articles you'll ever get to read?